Good morning, everyone. As stated, my name is Danielle Tenakanai. I'm from Divine Word University, and I will be presenting on the socio-economic impacts on the lives of the resettled people of Rabuana Village after the 1994 volcanic eruptions in East New Britain Province, Papua New Guinea. To begin my presentation. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, to begin my presentation, I'll give an introduction to the research site and the study. So this is a map of Papua New Guinea, and the research site is located on the island of New Britain, specifically East New Britain Province. Okay, so this is East New Britain Province over here, and the research site is in a district known as Kokopo. Okay, so the volcanic eruptions of Mount Vulcan and Mount Vurvur, it erupted in September 1994, which ejected 250 million of ash the town of Rabuana, located here. Okay, so due to these eruptions, almost all of the physical, social, and economic infrastructure in Rabuana town were completely destroyed or severely damaged. So although the deaths and the injuries were relatively low, there were significant social and economic disruptions and losses, with about 30,000 residents losing their homes. So due to this, the government established the Gazelle Restoration Authority, where their responsibility was to restore Rabuana town and the people. So due to these severe damages, they relocated the people from Rabuana district to the Kokopo district. So my research, it focused on the Rabuana villages from Rabuana who were relocated to a resettlement estate known as Gele. So this is the research site. So due to this relocation, issues have arisen which have affected the lives of the villages and the community as a whole. Issues such as the socio-economic impact, which the study mainly focuses on, or centers on. Now, the International Federation of the Red Cross stated that more people are forced to leave their homes due to natural disasters than any other catastrophe, including war. So as a result of this, people will have to adapt to new ways of living, such as how to sustain their lives. This is just an example of a socio-economic impact that is faced on a day-to-day basis by the Rabuana villages in the resettlement estate. This study, it is important as it shows that the villagers, although living in safer area away from the hazardous zones, they are still affected by the relocation, even after 24 years. So it's also significant as it illustrates how the socio-economic impacts affect the well-being and the standard of living of the villagers. Okay, so I will just explain the participant sampling as shown here. The participants that I interviewed, the age ranges from 40 to 90 years old. So the participants are the Rabuana villagers who were relocated due to the eruptions, and they comprise of 15 participants, 5 female and 10 male. So how I identify these participants, I use the non-probability convenience sampling method. Yes, and these participants, they were interviewed not only because they were present during the relocation, but also because they were old enough to understand what was going on. Therefore, they were able to give a fair idea on how the relocation affected their lives. So apart from this, the study is purely qualitative, where semi-structured one-to-one interviews were conducted. Okay, to my discussions, through the study, I've identified impacts that affected the people due to the relocation, and these are the positive impacts and the negative impacts. Now, to the positive impacts, the first one is the government services. So many of the participants have stated that due to them losing their homes and being relocated to a new area, the government sympathized with them, providing an environment conducive for their livelihood, such as providing a health center and schools. So this leads to the next positive impact, which is the access to services. Due to this accessibility of the services, this is the main reason why people have decided to remain in the resettlement estate than moving back home. Okay. And the last positive impact stated by the participants is the free land given. So due to this land given by the government, if another eruption were to occur, they do not have to go to care centers. They already have a place to stay. And apart from this, why it is seen as a positive impact, the participants stated that this land, it is seen as a way of being free from the concerns of custom or customary law. So in East New Britain, it is a matrilineal society where the land is passed to the landowner's sister's son. So yeah, matrilineal society. So them being in this new land, they have stated that if they pass away, they can just give their land to the children instead of following the customary custom. Now, yes, free land is seen as a positive impact, but it's also seen as a negative impact due to the population increases, which leads to the land unavailability, where participants have stated that due to this population increase, there is no land to do gardening. So this poses a challenge for food security, where this means that the rise of the population leads to the rise of demand of food. But because of the lack of land, they are unable to meet these demands. And also the settlers, because most of them are unemployed, they rely on gardening for survival, for cash crops. In Papua New Guinea, the production and sale of cash crops, it is an important source of income. So this is an issue. Law and order issues are faced in the resettlement estate, where youths sell and consume homebrew and marijuana, which leads to a youth problem where participants have stated that due to them being under influence of these illegal substances, they cause most of the issues faced in the resettlement. Another negative impact is the land titles. The participants stated that they've been living in the area for 24 years now and are still waiting for the land titles. So they are worried that the original landowners might come back and attain the land. So this is a negative impact. Also, the lack of government services. Although I stated that the government has provided services such as the center, there is still more room for improvement, such as the equal distribution of electricity across the settlement estate. That is just an example. Okay, now to conclude, although the Rabuana villagers were relocated to a safer area, they faced impacts which are still evident today, such as the socio-economic impacts I have stated. So an in-depth view on how the socio-economic impacts affect the Rabuana villagers was identified through this study. Therefore, the aim of the study was achieved. Now, to minimize the issues that I have stated, such as the issues of the land unavailability, of food security, and the law and order problem, the government should work closely with communities in planning and policy development for the betterment of the people. So developing such responses to improve the issues, it will lead to the improvement of the health and well-being of the community. Yes. So this planning, it must not be rushed. It must be done carefully in order to prevent long-term vulnerability of the affected populations. So I'll just give an example. In most developing countries where natural disasters occur, it causes severe damage to infrastructure, which causes society to become vulnerable. So due to this, the government is pressured to urgently address these complex decisions, and because of this urgency, they rush decision-making, which results in negative policies. Okay, so it is also suggested that for further research, more research should be conducted in other resettlement states on the issuing of land titles, and also a detailed research should be carried out on food security faced in the resettlement estates. So that is the end of my presentation. Poinatuna, pata tinir, or thank you. Any questions?